So guys, 100 days to go. Not that far away now. It felt like it's been such a long time since we've been out there. I guess we can kind of go from the beginning a little bit. But when you first heard of the games being postponed, how are you guys all feeling about that? Feels like a long time ago now.
It was a little bit because you knew it was coming with the state that the world was heading into. And therefore it was kind of like nice to some extent that it got postponed, because it stopped it being possibly going to happen in like a really weird condition, and there was going to be a lot of like pressure on it. And I really enjoyed the time, but it has also been very weird because I mean the whole thing's gone on for longer than I think anyone would have really expected, and even now the games are still going to be under such weird circumstances. Yeah, it's probably
it's just very unique, isn't it? Like it is. I think every Olympic Games is probably its own experience. Like the London Games, I think that was pretty special for the guys who were able to compete in that. And then the Rio Games, obviously that was, again, big Olympic Games in a different country. And now I'm just trying to see it as our own Olympic experience and take it at face value, just go into it with an open mind and run with it, really. I don't know what to expect yet, but I think it's still gonna. I think the Japanese are still gonna put on a good show. Liam, have you done any training camps out to Japan yet? Obviously, no, we know what we're doing with the slalom guys, but we don't really get to see the other side very much.
No, we sent a team out for the pre-Olympic regatta, so that was held a while ago now, at the end of 2019. And so they went out there to kind of collect data of the water conditions, wind conditions, kind of the environment, and they got to go and see the sites and stuff. But no, I was desperate to get back to my family life, and to catch up with them in summer holidays before things started again. We had like other family plans and stuff. So no, it's going to be interesting. Actually, I was dwelling on the old weather conditions, or what the kind of weather's going to throw at us out there earlier today. And I mean, the closest I've got is in a hyperbaric chamber at Bisham Abbey, where they basically just rack the temperature up to what it might be in the humidity, and did a couple of efforts there.
Yeah.
That was
I've
pretty
done that as well, actually. It looks like it's quite windy at the regatta lake in Japan. From what I've seen, it looks like there's a lot of wind.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the photos of the course they've got set up, it's never a good sign when you've got wind turbines going up the side of the course, So it's going to be interesting. Another factor is it's going to be salt water as well, which is something I haven't really raced. I think I've raced on salt water once out in Australia. But so that's going to be something different as well. And apparently there's quite a lot of fish that like to jump out at you. So hitting a school of fish when you're paddling down a race isn't going to be ideal, but they might get rid of the fish somehow. You never know.
Yeah, maybe herd them up into one end of the regatta lake or something like that.
I mean, they're looking to put snow machines out to help the audience, the crowds cool down out there. So if there are going to be any crowds.
Yeah, we don't really have to deal with schools of fish in the slalom course. Luckily, it's enclosed.
Yeah.
Not anymore anyway. I feel like when we're in some places in Nottingham or Prague where the rivers are a bit dirty, you occasionally get one in an eddy. Usually more floating on top than jumping at you, though.
Getting hit by a fish on the way down. That'd be an interesting memory, definitely think. Yeah, I mean, for me, I was quite relieved when the games were kind of postponed. Like has already been mentioned, it was kind of on the cards, and it was a relief when you heard it. I mean, I'd take postponed games over cancelled games any day. And being an athlete, you're very focused on on the day, on the event. So having that kind of just pushed back slightly gave you time to prepare and plan, I suppose, like as best as you could in the scenario that we're in. So yeah, I guess the initial reaction I was relieved when I heard that the games was going to be postponed. It does seem like such a long time ago now. It's like a lifetime.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a long time since it's postponed.
So I guess we've been in and out of lockdowns quite a lot. I just guess kind of how have you guys found the training during lockdowns, and like have you really learned anything and having to spend time off the water and things like that?
I mean, we're very fortunate to get gym kit and things at home during the first lockdown this time last year. It's funny because I've actually had this conversation quite a lot and just reflecting of where we were this time last year and talking to the other athletes and saying how I was up at 8 every morning working out by 9, and other people would say they weren't getting out of bed until like 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was very surprised as to how I had such a good routine. But I think I mean, it's not been too bad. I think it started off pretty well, went a little bit downhill, motivation a little bit, but got back on it when we were back on the white water. Did a lot of visualization stuff, which was cool. Learned quite a bit in that kind of sense of how we learn from doing sessions. Like we review definitely differently now than we did over a year ago. So I guess we learned a little bit around that. Probably similar to Mallory and Adam, maybe in that sense.
What were you doing in your like visualization sessions? Were you like trying to put yourself in a race scenario, or?
It was more a training session. So we get a training session from like within the like I guess January, February, probably even the summer. Like we were doing it throughout until maybe in September. And we were just watching the session and okay, like kind of put myself in the boat and what I'd be thinking when I'd be sitting at the side, almost watching it, like almost watching the session as if I was in the session.
Were you sitting in your boat in the garden?
No. I was sat here on my bed doing that, but that could have been a very good idea.
I think for me, getting, obviously there was a global pandemic going on, but at the start of the first lockdown, it was actually a little bit of a novelty to have a little bit of downtime for once. I feel like I'm always someone who finishes their season and then just bounces straight into the next bit of training for the next year. So it was actually quite nice to use it for a little bit of rest and recovery. And with the games being postponed, I don't know how I would have had it if I had a choice, like get an extra year's worth of training or go straight into the Olympics as planned, as I came off the 2019 season on, a pretty good high. I was putting in quite a lot of top 5 runs, whether that was in heat, semi-finals or finals. So, I don't know whether I would have carried that momentum better had the Olympics been the following year, but you've just got to adapt to the environment that you're in and try and, make the most of the situation as it is, which, is what I think being an elite athlete is kind of all about.
I'm quite similar, actually. I feel quite a similar way of like very thankful to have that time off because it was going very, very quick. It was like, Jesus, like we're going to be out in Tokyo in a month's time, but lockdown happened, pandemic happened. And I feel like I would have been ready for the games, but probably nowhere near as ready as I feel now.
Yeah, you've been looking pretty good, pretty sharp in the full runs I've seen recently. Pretty on the money.
Thanks.
Just leave that bit in to this video.
So, I mean, we're very fortunate. I was very fortunate to have a lot of equipment sent to me. So I've got a full setup at home, which was I'm really grateful for. I think the time in lockdown for me kind of really emphasized again or reminded me that I'm kind of the driving force behind my training and my push towards the dreams and ambitions that I still have. And at the same time, it reminded me of the wonderful amount of support I've got from home, from my friends, family, and from the team as well. So my coach and the rest of the British canoeing team, because I think you're reminded of. You kind of take them for granted, I suppose, sometimes, but you're only really reminded of these the things we have and have in place when they're kind of taken away and removed, and it's you by yourself, getting you up out of bed early to do the sessions and finding that routine, and you have very limited, access to your coach and the environments and the equipment that yet you are used to doing your training and sessions under. So I think for me that's kind of positive. It really reminded me of the driving force and where the energy came from, to push myself to the limits to get to where I want to be. So I guess that's kind of a positive. I mentioned before previously as a positive or silver lining has been seeing my daughter and having so much time with my daughter during the lockdown, not being away all day training at location over at Dorney, and then traveling back and then seeing her for a little bit. You had so much time to really connect with her in quite a vital stage of her development as a little person. She kept us very busy as well, and a lot of our routines, and so my training routine and then my wife Em's work routine very much revolved around her little life and her little world, making sure it was happy and healthy going through this tough time. But having her see and witness me training in the garden in the gazebo like I was really, really good. There's been so many positives, and I think you've just got to push forwards with those positive thoughts and the positive things in mind. Keep yourself sane, I think, a little bit. Keep yourself motivated and keep yourself pushing.
Is your daughter quite interested in paddling in general? Like, does she want to start kayaking, or have you had her out kayaking?
Not really. I mean, she's come and seen me a couple of times on the lake, but that's when she was tiny. So she's 3.5, just over 3.5 now. She's been on my paddle machine with me on there. Obviously, she couldn't move the flywheel without it. And she's seen pictures and videos and stuff. But at the minute, she's just into her Barbies and her dolls and her dollhouse, and those little bits and pieces at the minute. I mean, you very rarely see her without a tutu skirt on or a frilly skirt running about or fancy dress. She's into her Disney princesses more than kayaking at the minute. But I'm not gonna.
It's not too dissimilar from a spray deck.
No, I don't think it would function as well. So no, I mean, I'm not going to be. I don't think I'm going to be the parent that's going to push her towards any kind of sport in particular or anything in particular. She's just going to find her way and find what she loves doing and just help her support her, the things she finds interesting and the things she loves, really, I think. So she hasn't been in a boat yet, but maybe.
I mean, we're 100 days to go now until the start. So how's everyone looking forward to getting out there and competing?
I mean, I am excited to get out there, but it just keeps getting further and further away, which is a bit weird. Every time you think when you go in, it's like, nope, wait another month, and then you might be able to go. But I think that it's going to be quite cool now, the way that our lead-in is, like going out. We're pretty much just, when we go out, we're out for the games. And hopefully we'll be able to see a bit of Japan, but I guess we're going to be pretty penned in. But yeah, I'm excited to get out there and get on the course again, because I feel like I've forgotten it completely whilst actually remembering that I like it. So it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and getting on the course again after almost however many months, 8 months maybe, since the last time we were out there. And yeah, like you're saying there, Mallory, it's like every time we've had a training camp and then it's been cancelled, and then it's happened again, hasn't it? Where we're meant to be going on a April training camp, was it? Yeah. We're meant to be heading out there in April, and now it's just been cancelled. But to kind of weigh that up, we've been given an extra 2 weeks on the venue before the Olympic Games, which is quite nice. A little bit more time out there. Looking forward to getting into the BOA hotel, prior to entering the village. Just see what it's all about, living in this Olympic bubble. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
I don't go out as early as you guys do, but I'm just extremely keen to get racing again. It's been a long time, and racing is really the part that I love. I mean, everything you do is geared towards racing, so you put all the work in, and you really want to see what you can achieve and what you can get out, and what all that hard work is amounted to, I suppose. So I think for me, it's just really keen to get racing. I've still got some goals that I want to get. There's a particular time that I want to try and achieve down the course, and so I want to see how much closer, I suppose, I've got to that. The games environment is an incredible environment to be in. It's incredibly focused, obviously, on the competition and what you're there to do. So incredibly excited as well to go to Japan. I've never been over that side of the world before. To see their culture and to see everything. So hopefully get to see a bit of that when I'm out there. I don't know what the restrictions are going to be like by the time we get there, but it's been a very long road and much like a roller coaster as well. So it's not that far away now, and incredibly excited. You guys, it's going to be your Olympic debut, and it's been postponed for a year, pushed back. Has that made you guys more motivated and more excited about the experience? It kind of has it prolonged that Olympic build-up for you guys?
Yeah, certainly the prolonged build-up. When we were selected back in 2019, it didn't feel like we've had any time to kind of enjoy being a future Olympian, and everything felt like it was coming around really, really quickly. But now, obviously, it's just been a totally reversed effect where everything's going really slowly. So I'm just taking each session as it comes, and enjoying that part of the journey, trying to build on day, just to be the best athlete I can be by the time I'm sitting on that start line. But now I'm eager to get on the start line and just feel those kind of emotions of competing at an Olympic Games. My first Olympic Games.
I mean, I remember probably around the start of the year last year, before the lockdown happened, speaking to Craig, my coach, and saying how much I was enjoying this whole build-up and how it felt like it was already going quite quickly. We laughed about it a few weeks down the line. Like, just be careful what you wish for. You've just got another 12 months of it to enjoy. And I think it's kind of come in waves for me. Like, I think started we've got an extra year, and really motivated. Let's use this year better than everyone else. And then it's hard to maintain high levels of motivation like that. And I think as long as I was happy, as long as I was training hard throughout the time, I was happy. It almost didn't matter where I was at in terms of like if I had that wave of motivation or not. But certainly, now it really feels like it's getting close again. I think pretty much as soon as we hit 2021, actually, it's like it's the Olympic year, and pretty excited. Just I feel like it's just been like an extra test for us. We've had to be patient, and I've found that quite interesting to sort of observe how I've got on with it.
I think for me personally, COVID has just kind of like forced a mentality of I have no idea what's going to happen next week, so I'm just going to think about what I'm doing right now and deal with next week when I get there. So I think for me, I haven't even really comprehended the fact the Games is actually getting quite close. I think once I start hitting the like kitting out and start doing like more interviews and things like that, it will start to like build in my head. But right now, I think the Games could be like years away and I wouldn't feel that different, which is really odd. But I think just operate on a like, what can I do to, like, similar to Bradley, be the best athlete now and then deal with things when they come and try and work around them.
Yeah, but I'm super excited, and just getting there is probably harder. the harder part of the process. So kind of gone through that barrier, smashed through that, and now it's made the most of the year that we've had. And yeah, kind of glad to have that kind of press pause to realize where we're at and make most of the year, and then feel even better now and even more ready for 100 days to go and just about fine tuning things. And yeah, no, super happy to be going to the first games and just experiencing it all as an Olympian for the first time. It's going to be very unique and very cool.
For me, during the pandemic, like, yeah, I did utilize my coaching and support team quite a lot, but obviously there was quite a long period of time where we didn't have access to venue and, you know, physiotherapy and all of the whole package that comes along with being on a UK sport funded program. But, you know, since that point, there was a lot of contact with my coach and, you know, the rest of my support team to try and put some kind of plans in place for the Olympics. But equally, I didn't really know what timeline I was working to. So, like, trying to deal with that, weighing up, like, what phase of my training I should be going into, not knowing whether I was going to get back onto the Whitewater Centre at any specific date was really difficult to deal with. So yeah, Burge, I don't know, like, how you felt like during that period of time where we were like kind of, you know, isolated on our own with our maybe like flatmate or something, but how did you like use your coaches and, you know, deal with not being able to access venue?
Yeah, it was that first period where we had no access to any water to start with, but Lee Valley certainly, yeah, that was really difficult. No, I remember a physio appointment over FaceTime. I was being instructed to prod my shoulder, and, you know, does it hurt when you prod it there? Okay, try here. You know, that was quite difficult doing that kind of work. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's certainly been so much easier with the exemption that we've had and the things that we've managed to put in place for Lee Valley Whitewater Centre to open again. You know, we were super lucky to have access to that. And yeah, I guess gradually it's just got easier and easier, hasn't it? As we've been able to bring in, a bit of physio again, access to the gym, that kind of thing. I guess one of the other things we did, you know, we were in pretty regular contact with our psychologists as well. Like Kim mentioned, some of the visualization training. I did some of that as well, and it was quite. I mean, we used crowd noise and we used commentary. We used some things to make it feel quite real, and you know, I think they did quite a good job of putting that together for us.
I think it's been really hard to try and keep contact with everyone when you don't see them every day anymore. Like, there is so much that you can do over FaceTime or whatever it might be. There is so much you can do. So it is nice to have that face-to-face contact. I haven't seen the physio for a very long time, and I feel like maybe if something were to happen, you could, but like, it almost makes me ensure that I'm doing all of my like stretches and things like that, so I don't have to put myself in a position, like a risk position, should I say. But like, yeah, no, I think it definitely, like, the guys behind the scenes have made it a hell of a lot easier, like definitely with the planning, because I like to take things just kind of like in the present moment and just kind of go week on week, and that kind of helps now at the minute because week on week things change, so it's really useful to have that mindset. So, and I think as well, like with that, we were very fortunate to access the swimming pool, the Lee Valley swimming pool, and being able, because we weren't allowed to go on trips, so it was really useful to have that. And yeah, so I mean, huge thanks to, I guess, everyone behind the scenes being able to put that together for us.
Yeah, I think I kind of found that like when we lost everything at the start of lockdown, I like to see myself as a bit adaptable and like kind of dealt with it okay. But then like slowly as I regained everything, I kind of realized how grateful I was for that thing. Like going from doing gym at home to doing it in the center, I was like, this is so much better. I'm never gonna like take this for granted and think that I'm fine. Like, and things, just things like that, and like starting to see people around the center that you like, I didn't really talk to, like our performance analysis crews, I didn't really talk to over lockdown because I don't really talk to them much day to day unless I see them. And like starting seeing them around the center again, and it's like appreciating that relationship and just having those people to talk to. I think like for me, like that, and having them there and realizing what they give, I think has made the whole has made me respect the whole process loads more, and like made me come out of it being like much more like confident in those relationships and why those relationships exist and what I need from them.
How's your daughter at spotting you at bench press, Liam?
Yeah, not that great. Although I've let her try do a few chins. Obviously me holding on, but yeah, she seemed to enjoy that. I think for me, it's we're very fortunate to have the team of people behind us, and they've been crucial, obviously, for me to get myself through the big blocks of lockdown kind of scenarios that we faced. I mean, the first one was very tough. Straight off the bat, they were kind of there getting the equipment and everything in place to try and enable you to train as best as you possibly could at home. And for me, the lockdown strategy was very much about maintaining kind of the gains that I had got, so the strength and the kind of general fitness. And very grateful for the coach that I have, picking his brains from the years of wisdom that he's gained in the sport, and him enabling me to understand the plan that we're going to be putting in place was very beneficial for me to commit to the training program, which I kind of had to do by myself. Like was just mentioned, that you do miss everything around you when you're in kind of the performance environment. So like your physios and your analysis team and everything like that. I mean, it makes you very much more aware of the support they provide. So for physio, we're very conscious that you didn't have access to the physio, so you would be adapting and changing kind of what you'd be doing in the strength sections to minimize risk to actually hurting yourself. Because if you did that in the lockdown scenario, it's going to be tough to try and get back on your feet from that.